and welcome back to SEMA's podcast. Y'all ready for this? Where we talk about all things emergency management and emergency preparedness to make sure that you and your family are ready for any type of natural or man-made disaster right here in Chatham County. This week, we are shifting gears a little bit and wishing you a happy Volunteers Month now that we are in the month of April. And we are going to be talking with Laurie Humphries, who is the Director of United Way Volunteers. Laurie, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. Happy to be here.
Wonderful. All right, so we are going to, like I said, shift gears just a little bit. We're still talking about how you can engage in emergency preparedness and emergency situations, but in a totally different way. We're talking about volunteerism. Now, since it's National Volunteer Month, we thought it was a perfect opportunity to kind of bring this into light. Remember last week we talked with Jima and we talked with Cedric about how you can volunteer before and after a disaster. Laurie's going to help us figure out how we can do that, what that looks like, and how we might be able to get engaged and get involved. So Laurie, can you give me a little bit of idea who you are, what you do, and then what is United Way Volunteers?
Absolutely. So as mentioned, Director of Volunteers for the United Way of the Coastal Empire. And ultimately, I would say that I bring together the community with our agencies. So there's a lot of need out there, a lot of volunteer opportunities, and a lot of interest from our neighbors and our friends. And the United Way Volunteers is just a big collaboration. They could be individuals, it could be groups, it could be corporate partners that work together, but ultimately they are people giving their time and energy and effort to help one another and help the agencies in our community. And we are happy to bring the individuals together with the agencies that have the needs so we can really help bring everyone, elevate each other.
Wow, so it sounds like your department really is kind of like this outward branch of United Way and really kind of takes the mission and what you all do and what you mean kind of to the streets. That's pretty unique. I like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a lot of fun because we have our annual campaign that happens every fall that everyone's familiar with. And in the meantime, throughout the entire year, we also have this whole branch, like you mentioned, of volunteer opportunities that keeps the community engaged. And there's in addition to the ask, that's what helps fund some of these programs with our 54 funded agencies, but you don't have to be a funded agency to receive the help. And we have lots of people who want to help. And so throughout the year, that's what we continue to do.
Oh, very cool. And that's something else. So it's not just agencies that are funded by United Way that can kind of work through this. That's really neat. I did not know that. So
Yeah.
explain this to me. So what does this system look like? What if someone wanted to volunteer? Can you kind of walk me through what they need to do and how they could even find it?
Absolutely. So we have a website that ultimately connects the volunteers and our agencies. And as noted, you don't have to be a funded agency to post a need. That's what we call our volunteer opportunities or the needs. And it's free. We cover that cost. It's free for our agencies to use and for our volunteers to create profiles. And we have over 100 agencies on our website, on this website, and thousands of volunteers that are connected into it. And so the website itself, I'm sure we can list for you, but is uwce.org/volunteer. And that will take you to this website. And like I said, it's free to create a profile. I encourage you to do so because we send out monthly newsletters highlighting in previous month's events, talking about some upcoming projects and any information that might be useful in the coming month for you. In addition, we may have a last minute need for an agency or a project that's coming forward. And if you're on that mailing list, you're going to receive this information. When you are logged in, you can also fan an agency. So anytime your favorite cause or interest or nonprofit in the area across these 4 county regions, so it's not just Chatham County, we service Chatham, Bryan, Effingham, and Liberty counties. And so any nonprofit that posts a need in there, they have their own profiles that they manage on their own, and they have their own contact information. So we are bringing them together. The volunteers can do what we call become a fan. And so anytime an agency updates their profile or adds a volunteer opportunity, that volunteer gets an email instantly. So in addition to checking out the website, you can sort the needs by interest or cause or date posted on a map. There are many ways to do that. But if you do have a favorite cause or agency that you're interested in specifically, you can get instant notifications as well. So again, it's a portal that we can train our agencies to use. Several have taken us up on that. We show how to use it, how to create needs. You can even post events on there because it's really helping to bring together United Way volunteers with our nonprofits across the 4-county region.
Wow, I love that. So as an individual, let's say, Miss Geraldine wanted to volunteer somewhere. She could easily create a profile within your account. She could even sign up maybe causes that interest her. So if homelessness is a cause that interests her, or animals is a cause that interests her, or I've got to put my plug in, disaster response
exactly.
is a cause that interests her, she would be able to receive emails about those or sign up to even do a volunteer opportunity. Is that what I'm understanding?
Exactly. So if she sees a need posted on there that she can sort and find based on what she's interested in, and if she sees something, she can respond directly through the site, and that will instantly notify that agency. It's going to give them basically her contact information. So we don't ask a lot. It's really just how do we reach you in case you do respond to a need, so we can get you set up. But if she responds to a need directly through that site, that agency that posted the volunteer opportunity gets a notification on how to reach her. So yes, absolutely.
Love it. All right, so you keep saying the word need. What are some of these needs that exist right now? If someone wanted to log in today, one of our listeners wanted to log in today, what are some of the needs or things that they might be able to help do?
Sure. So there's a lot. I'm going to digress for 2 seconds. So in addition to the individuals that sign up, if you're a corporate group or a school group, or if you want to just put something custom together for your group, we can customize that for you as well. But as far as some of the needs that are listed on the website, so there's a lot. So there's pages and pages, but it's virtual and not virtual options. For example, Senior Citizens Inc. is always looking for Meals on Wheels delivery, and this happens during the lunch hours, and that's really helpful for our older community, especially during COVID. And it is modified, so you aren't necessarily sitting with the folks as you typically would pre-COVID, but they're still getting the meals in the company that they have been looking for. Park Place Outreach is also looking for help. You can do meals for the kids that are staying there as well. They're also looking for some easy landscaping, whether that be raking or trimming some bushes. Union Mission posted some things recently, and that was to help clean out their warehouse. If you're looking for something strictly virtual, there's a lot in there as well. So the Mediation Center is looking for folks to help with the Zoom platform. Royce Learning Center and Goodwill, Southeast Georgia, are also looking for tutors that can be done virtual. Loop It Up Savannah, they're looking for volunteers who can meet weekly, about an hour, twice a week, but for several weeks. And this was to help read to the students and the art students, because they want to keep that relationship. They want to get the students to say, oh my gosh, Chelsea's going to coming at 11 reading, and we're going to get to see Chelsea and see what's going on the last few days. So they want to keep that relationship and not necessarily somebody that reads one time for them, which is still magical, but that they can continue to build in the students' mental health, especially right now during COVID. Things are a little bit different, but especially even that, still all virtual. So there's some virtual opportunities, there's in person, and there's of course some in between based on your preferences.
Wow. So it seems like there's a lot of different opportunities. So if people are interested, definitely go to that website, guys, and create your own portal. I have one for work, and then I also have one for my personal life of opportunities that I would love to be able to join in on as well. All right. So Laurie, you had mentioned before we started actually recording our podcast here that you've got some events coming up for the month of April. Can you kind of talk about that? And I know they're not just in Chatham, but you've also got some outside of Chatham. Can you give us a little bit more information?
Absolutely. So yeah, we totally recognize, of course, coastal empire across, again, our 4-county region. And not everybody may live in Chatham, they may work in Chatham, or vice versa. People, travel in and out of town depending on where you live. And, we want to offer opportunities for everybody. So throughout this month, take a look. They're all going to be posted on our website by the time you're reading this, or excuse me, watching this. And so there's going to be one for each. So in Liberty County, we will be putting together Easter baskets, and we're working with the Hinesville Homeless Authority. And so we'll be putting those together. So it's not just typical candy, which of course will need to be there, but some fun things too, like socks and books and those types of things will go in those baskets, and we'll be delivering those. We're working in Effingham, and that will be at the Casa Ogeechee Visitation Home. And they do some beautiful things out there. And so we're going to work on this. This is a beautification project outside, because they do beautiful things inside that home. We want to do things on the outside too to really make it feel cozy for those families that are visiting with their children. We are also working in Pembroke, and that is a community-wide effort that's pretty neat. So they are growing, and we thought now is the perfect time to really just offer a hand. We've got some great people who can help out, and this will be building planters, and there's going to be some artwork created along a 3-block radius. And in Chatham County, hunger is, certainly still a concern. And so we will be working to deliver meals to those in maybe underserved communities within Savannah. So all of these are posted, and we would love to have you all join us throughout this month. Of course, there's lots of things happening throughout the year, but this month especially, we wanted to highlight.
Well, it's a special month, National Volunteer Month, where we get to recognize all the great work that our volunteers do. And, over the last year that we've had, what a month to just recognize all the great work that these volunteers are doing by having some of these opportunities. I love that idea, and I love that United Way is pushing that forward. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Very cool. All right, so in addition to the portal and the website and the events that you guys have going on, you mentioned a little bit earlier this idea of corporate and group and how people can get engaged in that way. I hear that you might have a special opportunity going on with some of those corporate sponsors and organizations. Can you give us a little bit of details?
Yeah, so I'm going to give an example of one that we completed and one that's very recently, and then one that's happening right now that we are still seeking volunteers for. So just as an example, we partnered with the Savannah Tree Foundation, the City of Savannah, and Gulfstream for George Arbor Day. And we organized 4 separate tree planting locations and brought the volunteers together in conjunction with all of those fantastic organizations. And it was, again, a multi-day project. The City of Savannah was involved when we did a cleanup at Thomas Square, but ultimately when a corporate or group come together and they're looking for what can we all do together? We want to do something as a group together. For example, Target just left me a voicemail. They want to do something, who are also super involved in the community. So it's amazing. That's where we can step in and really do something custom. But with COVID happening right now, so Gulfstream has partnered with Hospice Savannah, and that is to create vaccination events, because we really need to get this out to our community members and those who qualify right now. And as we're getting deeper into those more general population, trying to vaccinate as many people as humanly possible, especially right now, we are helping to facilitate and gather volunteers. Now, volunteers aren't the ones doing the vaccinating; those are left to the experts in that, who are qualified for those experiences. But our volunteers are there to help check people in, get them scheduled for their second doses, get them take their temperatures, and et cetera, et cetera. So this has been going on since February, and it's not stopping anytime soon. In fact, we're ramping up the quantity of days of week that's happening, and we could certainly use some help with that. Those dates are also posted on our portal. So if you're able to sign up for a day or 2 days or multiple or whenever you're free, it's certainly appreciated. Right now we have it going through next month, but that's going to expand and the days are going to increase. But so yeah, it's not just a single day project that we do. Like, this has been going on for some time. You certainly can come for one day, but this is a mass project that we're helping with the community. And this is an emergency, I think, if you with the pandemic happening. And so we can hit the ground running. So not just for a one-day event, but for multi, and really try to impact as many people as possible.
Right, and it sounds like it's expandable. So if someone wants to come volunteer for one day, kind of dip their toes in and see if it's a good fit for them, and they like it, you guys can continue to volunteer in that capacity for, like Laurie said, the foreseeable future, as we continue to vaccinate Georgia and honestly the entire world.
Yeah.
it's a really unique opportunity to say that you helped just kind of make Chatham County and make the state of Georgia that much more resilient by making vaccines accessible to everyone in our community. That's a fantastic thing to volunteer for, and I love that.
Yeah, we're very proud to partner with Gulfstream Hospice on that to do what we can. And the volunteers that are out there and they're consistent and they've been showing up week after week after week is remarkable. So we're very proud of that.
Right. And they might need a break soon. So this is a perfect time for you
Exactly.
to jump in and see if you might be able to help. But Laurie, that brings up a really good thought. And to our listeners, know that Laurie and I are having conversations kind of in the background too, to talk about what hurricane season is going to look like this year. We're knocking on all of the wood that surrounds us, I promise, as we have this conversation. But if we needed to, have a volunteer reception center or have the ability to collect volunteers' information after a storm or after some type of emergency event, this is hopefully where you're going to be able to go to find that information and find that data. A place that you're already connected with, this would be a really great chance for you to learn about the portal so that you're a little bit more comfortable during an emergency event, getting that information about how you might be able to help.
Absolutely. Agreed. Definitely. As Chelsea said, go ahead and create that profile as we get closer in. That's when you're going to start getting notifications, because if we need, unfortunately, hopefully not often, but if you are signed up, you're going to get those notifications and the ask for help, because we know people, not just in the disaster response field, but other people want to come and help if they can, and they want to help a tree or rake some leaves even, or help clear a road or help a family that's in need. But that will, Chelsea and I are working together on that to bring together volunteers with that response.
Awesome. So stay tuned for that, listeners. Hopefully we'll have Laurie back later into hurricane season just to talk about a plan, not to implement it. Let's keep our fingers crossed that we do not have to implement it. All right. Well, Laurie, thank you so much for joining me today. I had a blast. I hope that you did too. And I think that hopefully our listeners will learn a little bit more about your program and a little bit more about what United Way does and all the different pieces that you guys are engaged in and involved in. Hopefully this is just a kicking off point for them.
Love it. Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate the opportunity, the invitation, and the ability to talk about what we do. It's great work, and giving time and energy and effort is irreplaceable. It's amazing.
Absolutely. Donating your time is so valuable and so incredibly important. And I know that we could talk about this for a whole nother episode of our podcast.
Absolutely. Definitely.
But just know that that's incredibly valuable, team. And we hope that you do take Laurie up on this opportunity to find a way to donate your time this week or tomorrow or even next month. We hope that we'll see you out there and you can enjoy in National Volunteer Month. All right, well, be sure to tune in next week when we kind of shift gears a little bit, and we're going to talk about disasters. Is it fact or is it fiction? That makes not a lot of sense right now, but we promise it will next week. Tune in and we'll see you then. Bye, guys.